meantime, we started the second week of back attacking and defending this week. What's going on, Joe? So we've got Monday footage. Where are we at? Boom. Let's get into it. Joe right off the bat with giant human being, Jake, new student. And Steven and I starting off. Steven, I don't think you and I have had a first round match in a very, very long time. Your sticky ass grips. So, a little background on Jake. He apparently wrestled from about the ages of 3 to 18, I want to say. So, not coming in here just a big, strong guy. Definitely has some experience in grappling. But Joe, you're giving him a good run for his money with guard retention, right? Something that wrestlers don't typically have to deal with against an opponent on their back, because nobody goes to their back in wrestling if they can help it. So I like what you're doing here. Constantly keeping your legs in position, making connection with his feet, and trying to disrupt his base. Here I see you entering into an outside Ashigarami. Just about slips by you, but you keep your knee in. That's awesome. Now he gets into like that heavy pass position, but he doesn't just kind of fold you by and get to side control, so you retain. And I've made my way to mount on Steven with a terrible attempt at a back take. But that was a fun scramble. I just want to see how we ended up getting here. Steven in. I cut the corner. Steven comes up. I barrel back into him here. To the shin pin, and then to mount, and then to a crappy back take. Okay. And then as we're coming up here, you just did not let me get your arm under control there. But this was interesting because you beat me on like the head height and the hip height, and you even got my legs by. But I managed to, I think I'm posting on my left hand here, and that, we kind of make an exchange of head height at that point where I get my leg under me. You can see I get my right leg. I pull my right heel back to me and try to get my hips pressuring into you to get you over. Kind of a sloppy reversal on my end, but I think that was just a consequence of the scramble. Joe with a good transition to a front headlock, setting up a collar tie from distance, and then making a quick jump. You see his right leg pulled back. I think we talked about that with the some of the open guard stuff we've done in the last cycle of training. Lost the talent battle. In the last go around where we were in open guard, I talked about when you're seated and you want to stand up, it's imperative you get your legs out of your way, right? You do that just by pulling a single leg back. It's a good way to tell if your opponent is looking to wrestle up, ankle pick, something like that. So here Joe pulls that leg back, has his collar tie, gets his shoulder above the crown of Jake's head, and goes in for a front headlock, but Jake's big and he stands. So in on a cross ashi to a leg lace here on Steven. And Steven, you like, that's the right idea. Like at that point you really want to disrupt the grip. I was talking about this position with Gavin actually, because he was saying he gets caught here a lot. Before I get too deep, I just want to see the entrance. Oh, this was just the back step from half guard. So as you're turning towards me, just a quick back step over. Notice I really focus on leading with that left leg as it swings behind. I really make sure to drive my knee in to wedge your legs in place. I probably could have done even better there. I feel like I'm still leaving a little bit of room. James, this may be something you should throw into your arsenal, just because I know you've been playing around with that cross ashi entrance from side control, where you sit the like reverse kesa, step the near leg in, and get into cross ashi. This is it's a cross ashi entrance. You've been playing a lot with that position, so this is just a very quick, sneaky way to get into this position. So just a nice, easy back step from half guard, right? But you want to do it with your knee out. Your knee has to be, like, my right knee has to be poking out. Steven can't have it captured between his legs. So I sit through to here, and I immediately capture the far leg. If you get your booster sheath. Really? That's super funny. As Steven gets to the leg lace, something here I was telling Gavin to play with was this sort of shearing of the leg. So you kick one leg through as you, like, you're really looking to get your secondary leg free here. So you drive your secondary leg through as you pull your primary leg back, and then you switch quickly and switch back and switch back and switch back. And what you're looking to do there is just to create motion and space to get the secondary leg out. Once you do, you can go on your turning escapes, or slip into the counter heel hook I've been showing you guys. Anything to get that second leg free, though. Meanwhile, I'm doing everything I can to keep it. Working on the leg lace here. And then I could do an even better grip with the elbow to elbow. The gable grip's a little too loose there. How did that roll with Jake end? Maybe Jake taking a little breather. Okay. Crappy attempt at a knee bar. Good early knee slip, Steven. So I sit into a Remy, not even a good one, into outside ashi. Yeah, I just never really had a good connection on that leg. Big dude has big targets, yeah. Is that? Hold on. Josh is bothering me. Check the quality of the stream now. You're an idiot. Alright, anyway. Yeah, dumbass. Good booster seat joke. Anyway, so in on another leg attack here. Nothing doing. Steven's quick on the roll these days because he knows I'm going after the legs. Gavin with a nice, some nice quick movement to get behind Josh, looking for the chair sit back take. Gets it. Steven get me off balance really well here. Tight waist. I can't remember how this ends. Caleb in his blaze orange shorts coming from hunting deer or something. Gavin gets to the head and arm. Oh, okay, yeah, coming out of from losing the back, transitioning up to that. Good. What's going on, Brandon? How you doing, bud? Hope you're feeling better. I really need to work on alternatives when you guys just like keep your hips so far away from me. I probably should just suck it up and start taking more shots, even though I hate being sprawled on. Steven with the snap down. Collar tie to front headlock. And Caleb passing Brandon's guard here. Oh, is that when it happened? Damn, Josh. What a jerk, dude. When did it happen? When did it happen? How'd you bust him up? We'll let it go. Can't pinpoint the impact. Maybe you're not as big of a jerk as you look like. Squeezed so hard. He must have, man. Nah, he wasn't rolling with Danny. He didn't get kicked. So I'm not sure what Caleb's thinking here. Riding really high. He's got his leg caught. There's a chance at a back take here. Oh yeah, they roll through. I think we missed a few seconds of it. But I think it would require a lot of control over Brandon's right arm for Caleb to transition this into a back take. You can tell he already has a hook in. Yeah, so moving on from there, we're still kind of in the same spot. I think if Caleb pressured down, now the back's hidden. So. And we got Josh and Clay up top there by the chat. I'm going to have a lot of fun watching Clay just like wrestle all of you to the ground effortlessly. God, look at that. Look at that. All right. Let's see this. Let's see how Clay sets this up. Let's zoom in here. So off the shallow underhook. Okay, so cool. He goes kind of like a knee tap. I mean, I think that's what you'd call that. So right arm, right hand down to the knee as he shucks by with that underhook and takes a big step behind. Watch his right leg take a big step behind as he gets Josh moving by and exposes the back. Slips under. And now immediately, I really like this quick thinking to get the first hook in. And then I'd like to see if he could get that second hook in a little bit faster. Maybe he's out a little bit of trouble. Josh might be running some interference there. Breaks him down. And then nice to the arm triangle, almost. I think Luke showed him that arm triangle during drilling in the advanced class. So be on the lookout. Clay will be choking all of us with that as best he can. So I just want to see Caleb here gets a nasty looking north-south choke. Joe, you got to shoot better than that, buddy. Brandon's neck look all torqued up. Remember, Joe, when you take your shots, I want you moving through them, not just down to the knees and getting crushed. Get out from underneath, cut your angles, do what you got to do. Do not just go straight in and then down to the knees. He really likes that knee tap. See him working with the overhook now, kind of whizzing down. Just dragging to the mat. Brandon getting fancy here. Okay. Let's look at this. So Brandon he's got a top half guard. See weird heel hook on Danny during this roll. I'll look for it. Tell me if I don't catch it. Okay, so it looks like Caleb's going, I think Caleb's thinking knee lever. He's getting his feet together. Brandon's knee, I'm going to assume, is on the mat. That's when you want to do a knee lever, where you step on the outside of your opponent's knee and then point your knees in that direction to get them rolling. It's either going to sweep them or it's going to make them base out and give you the ability to get your frames back in, or at least one frame back in. So Bout gets the roll. Brandon bases out and then cuts the angle here. Slips the leg. If he can get Caleb's left arm up, he's got a good rear triangle entrance. It's a big if. Good reaction from Caleb. To the arm and guillotine. And the sweep with it. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Nice. Sorry, I just want to see Clay and Josh. Austin and Gavin. Missed it. Let's see. Alright, so Danny's looking to take your back. Nice buck to get him off you there. So it looked like you were entering into this kind of backside. Is it a 50-50? Yeah, this is like a backside 50-50 entrance. Danny slips the knee line. I think Danny's been being very careful with his knees lately. I think his left knee especially. I don't know about his right one though. I mean, his knee is free. I think he probably would have been safe on that, Joe, if he wasn't tapping cautiously there. You attack the left side. Well, then that explains it. So you switch legs. I'm going to assume you maybe were down near the ankle, because you don't have any real control. You have no control over the hip, like no direct control over the hip on the left side. So maybe it was kind of like an Estima lock, or you know, that sort of like you're exposing the inside of the foot, twisting it upwards. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, and it all, not to take away from that. I mean, it's I think you would consider that something like I believe they call it an Aoki lock, after Shinya Aoki, but I think that'd be more effective if you had control over the hip. Like, definitely something to play with. It's a good thing to transition to from standard Achilles locks, where you just kind of slip the heel right in front of your ribs and then almost hit it like an Estima lock. Okay. And Luke going with Big Jake over there on the side as well. Let's see what Luke's doing. All right, Jake goes for a nice trip there. I think if he had a little bit better control over Luke, Luke may have gone for a ride there. It looks like there's a bit of a grip. I don't know. Let me... it's going to be hard to see. Zoom out. So, as he goes to fall... Yeah, I mean, the grip on Luke is like... It's kind of like just a grip on the hand, cupping the shoulder, and a shallow underhook. May not be enough to get Luke going forward as much as he needs to. He tries to trip him with that left leg. It's kind of, I would say it's similar. I mean, I guess you could call this like a Sumigaeshi or something, but he just doesn't get Luke going forward enough, and then now he pulls Luke into basically top half guard, and Luke transitions to mount and then quickly to the back. I feel like if he turned a bit more on that fall, maybe it would have worked out a little bit more in his favor. Hard to say. But now Luke on the back and him belly down. That's a tough spot. Danny trying to Estima lock you now, Joe. And Brandon is in a good he's in, well, not good, but a somewhat promising armbar position. This is an armbar skill that, like, if you like armbars or you're going through a phase where you're trying to get better at them, a good thing to make sure you can do is do them through 360 degrees of rotation, right? From on your back to belly down and everywhere in between. Knowing how to transition from one to the other too is very important. Depending on who you're rolling with and how they're defending, you may need to make transitions. So for this one, where Brandon's belly down on this, a good thing that he can do is, first off, switch the direction he's looking up. I would rather him looking towards Caleb's feet than over the head. And then another very important detail here, which he can do with just dropping the knee down to the mat, is getting his spine kind of in line with Caleb's shoulder line. So if he lines himself up along this line, he could then look to take an elbow deep grip with his left arm and use his right arm to start reaching and trying to gather the feet. He's going to try to pull, in this case, Caleb's right foot towards him, then pull his left foot towards him. He's closing the angle between Caleb in this direction and himself in this direction. He's bringing Caleb's hips closer to him to where he could pull Caleb over, roll him, and put him back to his back, and then go on the attack for the armbar again. If he stays looking in this direction, it's not that he can't do anything. This would, I feel like maybe a good option for him here would be to try to transition to the back, by trying to kind of push himself back in this direction and, establish better grips and all that. He's basically falling off at this point though. But Brandon, if you care to work on some armbar angles, being able to transition from belly down to that seated or on your back position would be a good skill to practice. Braden breaking me down from 4 points. Danny working his miserable Darce. So he doesn't have the Darce grip yet. There it is. Now it's super tight. James embarrasses you here. Where you got? Oh, okay. James with the octopus guard. Like you guys, yeah, let's see. So captures that leg, comes up over the top. Damn, James, you could have come up on that single. Tap each other in the last one. Nice. All right, another good tip for Brandon here. He actually, real quick before we do that, just want to see how Luke and Jake ended. Looks like Luke made his way to the back and is using that high ball ride position he was going over in class, where Jake gets that single leg out and Luke transitions to a hook with one leg. In this case, his bottom leg is the hook, and then he's crossing his ankles with the top leg. So still affording him some control over his opponent. Fast forward a bit to Brandon again. So Brandon's been playing around with this straight ankle for a long time now, trying to just get better and better at it. I suck at straight ankles, generally speaking, at least as far as like times I've finished them on higher level opponents. But I do see a lot of stuff wrong with this one that we can tighten up. Namely, the very first thing is hand and head position. And I've been drilling this into you guys for a while now. Whenever I see it, when you guys are going for leg locks, it's really, really important that this space right here between your chin and your hands is minimized, okay? When you go to straighten yourselves out and like apply braking pressure into this, the further your hands go from your chin, the more power you're leaking from the move. okay? So getting to that high hand position is really important. He's got his elbow in a good place, I feel like. He just doesn't have his hand. He has his hand very low, like over his belly button, essentially. He needs to get it up higher to his chest, and then bring his head towards his chest. I want him concave, bringing his chin to his hands. And then we can talk about foot position and finishing this. You can finish this from an Irimiyashi. I have lately been seeing this finished with stepping on the hips. So both feet. Caleb's clearing the 1 foot right now. It's not the end of the world. But that inside butterfly that Brandon has with his right leg, seeing that right leg come through to where his foot is planted on the hip and he's lifting his hips up a little bit off the mat, and then with that good high hand position, starting to straighten himself out and tuck his elbow underneath him. That's what's going to put maximum braking pressure on. And then alternatively, if Caleb's surviving this and he starts to crowd, like coming up, yeah, Brandon kind of gives it up there. Well, he keeps the grip like Peters loves to do, and then goes in on it later. I was gonna say though, going to belly down is always a good option. I see the embarrassment happening right now. We'll look at it in a second. Now we got a little bit more pressure. See right there, Brandon. Like this is where you're making Caleb move. All right, Caleb's not enjoying this, so he's looking to get up. Right here, this is where you can, again, high hand position. Once you have your high hand position and a good deep grip, you can take your right arm out, post, and kind of like arch your back up, splay your knees out, and then hip down into this to put on very serious braking pressure. The breaks that are the worst from straight ankle locks or Achilles locks come from the belly down position. So Caleb rolling over is not in his best interest there, but definitely works for you, Brandon. So keep working on your mechanics. We'll go over it some more. I know you want to get better at those. All right, so James gets to Steven's back and working that high ball ride again. So Steven gets the top leg out and starts to roll away. James, you're doing a great job here with diagonal control. You have the left arm and the right hip, super important. So that's making it very difficult for Steven to get out of this. even putting in like a bit of a half Nelson here. Moving to a crossbody ride position. And then to a calf slicer. Let's see how this goes. To the banana split. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I like. Just a quick point, James. This grip you have is kind of dangerous for you, not for Steven. I mean, it sucks for Steven, but when you go to reach for that leg to hit the calf slicer, if Steven flares this leg this way, your arm is between both of his legs. Your right arm is between both of his legs, and there's a really cheap counter armbar there. You can hit this calf slicer by reaching your right arm over the leg to establish the same grip. Yeah, yeah, you could have. But yeah, think about, so the change you make here, the change you make right here, you can calf slice with this arm position. It's a lot safer for you. And then when he tries to, like, you know, straighten his leg, or he uses his second leg to run interference, then you can do exactly what you did here, which was switch to the banana split, which is rad. Steven grabbing himself. That hurts the hips so bad. Like, it's when you do this right, it's not an attack on like the muscles. Like, you're not forcing somebody into a split. You're putting serious pressure on the hip joint itself, not just the muscles around it. It's absolutely miserable. But yeah, from here, dig the heels down, try to touch your heels to the mat, and rip his legs apart. Very fun. Great exchange. Let's see the retaliation. Just getting him warmed up. So here, let's see. Sits into half guard, 12 seconds left. Pulls into an Arimiyashi, gets the heel exposure, rolls through. It's like, I'm not going to let you have that one for free. Hell yeah. Had to put Brandon through the paces. Again, we see Clay using that underhook knee tap combination. All right, so he's got the underhook here, shucks Danny by, taps the far knee. I love that. I love how, like, really good wrestlers, I mean, they're good at a lot of stuff. It's like any good black belt is good at many things, but they're often great at a couple things. And even when you know they're doing it, it's unstoppable. And it's cool to see wrestlers, like when Mitch was training with us, he had specific guard passes he used. He had slide bys that were unstoppable. You know, you could count on him hitting, you know, one or two things on you every round if you wanted to. Brooke throwing some fists there. It'll be interesting to see what else Clay brings to the table with his takedowns. Brooke with a quick go behind, getting around Joe's legs. Nice. Settling into the guard pass. How did Brandon sweep me here? Oh, Brandon actually had, like, he had me in a little trouble here with the guillotine. I was worried for a second. Once I felt the hand come off, though, I knew it was time to kip. Just enough to get back to butterfly guard. And then Austin, if you watch this, check that out. So we were talking about this shoulder crunch sweep after class yesterday. One thing I wanted to like make clear to him, to Austin, we were talking about this, was the position of the outside arm, right? The underhooking arm is really, really important here. A lot of times we get too focused on the arm that's under the chin, and we think about lifting our opponent's chin up with it to get the turn started. But that is a part of the move. It's a good detail. But the connection to your opponent on the sweep is crucial. So you really, really need to make sure that you've got good chest-to-chest contact. We'll say, get a little nitpicky here and say like shoulder line to shoulder line contact, like upper chest. And you need to make sure, this is a tip Gordon Ryan put out there after he hit a shoulder crunch sweep on Buchecha in like the 2019 ADCC Absolute Final. The elbow of the outside arm, the underhooking arm, needs to be over top of the shoulder blade of your opponent and then compressing down into their back. Right here, I'm a little off the target, but that's a really crucial detail, I think, to make sure that you establish that good connection and then further isolate the arm so that they can't pummel it out or easily limp arm out of this move. And then this is a variation Peters likes to do, where instead of taking him in the direction that he thinks you're going, he can't really base out effectively in this direction. If I get his body elongated, I actually start to take him the other way, where I probably do, I don't know if I do the full grip here. I often like to use a reverse collar tie. So like my right hand would turn here and like just kind of cup the back of his head, shove it under his chest like we do with a power half Nelson, and then elevate with that butterfly hook to come up and over. So shoulder crunch sweep, but in the opposite direction that it typically goes. Let's see. Clay getting looked like an arm in guillotine on Danny here. So Danny's trying to roll out of this. I think Danny, maybe, I don't know if Danny's neck is bothering him here or if that was really tight, but yeah, Clay's got the arm in guillotine. Joe with the double. Establishing position. Good. Is that the same takedown again? Oh no, Danny's... Trying to do a little outside trip on that leg with the knee brace on it on Clay. So I'm using the Kimura to pass Brandon. And instead of going to a side triangle or working the Kimura, Brandon doesn't give me the room to like, let's see. I mean, I do end up taking his back. He didn't want to turn towards me because he knows that it's an easy back take. So he was kind of chilling in the center, but I just gathered his head without getting my bottom hook through immediately. You really want to try to slip your elbow from that position if you're on the defense. David and Caleb getting after it too. Caleb with a quick shot on the single leg. Tyler and Luke coming back into frame. Just an easy hook sweep. And Gavin working to a rear triangle here. Has the arm in a great position. Nice, very nice. Let's see how he gets here. So, okay, excellent. So from the mounted triangle, I think you noticed there, he had the leg corresponding to James's arm behind the head, which is a little awkward. Now as James rolls up with barely exposing his back at all, Gavin takes full advantage of it. Good grip on the head to pull the head up, allowing him to slide his knee in and behind. Scoots right in. Takes control of that arm very early on. I think what I like about this more than anything is he gets there and fully takes the time to make sure his control is set up. He's not quickly trying to go on the attack. He makes sure his legs are in place, pulls his foot up into place. He knows he has a good triangle now. And now he can start to go in on the finish. Excellent. We got Luke and Tyler down here too. Luke trying to set up a triangle here. Tyler doing a good job keeping both arms in, denying Luke the triangle. Luke's gonna just off balance him though with that anyway. And then work up to an arm bar. Nice. God, everybody clearing out of the front and center. Active round. Brooke and Joe just keep trying to kill each other, I guess. Danny and James are getting after it. James on the front headlock. Dog fighting here through the front headlock. Yeah, it appears that way. Luke gets a Pat's back here. Oh, nice. Off a pretty basic snap down. So right from here, you see Luke take that left step backwards, make a little bit of room for Pat to go. Big pull, throws him by, and pressures him down into turtle. Yeah, Pat from there, I mean, if you can help it, as Luke is trying to establish his position on you, I would really do your best to maybe try to roll back to guard, like, you know, it's not even a Granby roll. It'd basically just be like a forward roll before Luke establishes hooks. Because once he's on your back, I think all of you at this point know how miserable it is. You're gonna get your face pummeled. You're gonna be fighting forearms across your chin and all that. It's not a fun spot to be. I do as much as I can to avoid Luke getting onto my back, which normally just ends up in me being smother tapped, if I'm being totally honest. Josh laying some heavy shoulder pressure on me here. And James doing the same to Danny. Really, really heavy shoulder pressure. This looks good. Controlling that far arm so Danny can't frame. Very nice. Looks like you were taking a page out of Peter's book there. As you came around north-south, you were trying to isolate that far arm. I see you sneaking your left arm underneath, trying to establish the Kimura. Danny's wise to it, though, and slips the elbow. It's back week. Let's see how or if I escape Josh's back attack here. I don't remember if he taps me or not. Caleb, this goes to what I was talking about with you yesterday when we were doing our positional round. Caleb and I were attacking each other's backs, and he was doing well at addressing the grips up top and using some upper body escapes, but there were times where I felt like the lower body escapes were lacking. So one thing you see me doing here is, you know, Josh is not being nice to me. He's really trying to, Josh, I think you use a lot of face pummeling typically to get your strangles, and when it works, it works. So I'm really focused on making sure that my neck is safe. Anytime you see my hands down by the legs, even breaking this rule of using, you know, the top side arm to attack a bottom leg, which, you know, you guys know how I typically feel about that. I did it because I knew I could get away with it there. But when you see me going down towards the legs, it's because I feel like my neck is safe, and it's probably going to be easier for me to shift my hips out than it is for me to try to fight my arms against Josh's arms when he's on my back in a more mechanically advantageous position, right? So here I'm taking a break because I need to reestablish my my safety on my neck. But you can see the whole time, watch what my legs are doing. I'm really trying to step out, step on his legs, turn my hips there in that case. If he was throwing up body triangles, I'd be addressing those. So there's this constant battle between like upper body escaping when it's possible and lower body escaping when I think I can get away with it. Caleb, if you watch this, I hope that makes sense. Ooh, Danny on a triangle right now. James not having it. Oh yeah, Josh, you almost had that guillotine too. I was genuinely concerned about this. Let's look at this. Right here as I shoot in, I'm straight on trying to shoot in on this guillotine, or I'm sorry, on this takedown. Josh throws on a good arm-in guillotine here. I really think you could have finished that arm-in guillotine. I think you switch at some point to just a regular guillotine. But yeah, it was as soon as I could tell that your leg was around me, I was like, I'm pretty screwed right now. I hope he doesn't think he has this. So take note of that. I mean, sure. You're just pretty close. And then I counter heel hooked you, man. Or not counter heel hooked you. I just regular heel hooked you. And there you got punched in the face going on a shot. So I'm pretty sorry about. Trying to put the power half Nelson to use, but you jumped a little too quickly, so I had to adjust. Luke will be mad at me if I don't call it out when I see it. Pretty sure he's trying to smother tap Pat from the bottom. He got it on Daniel, and I missed it on the last stream, and ended up naming the stream that on YouTube. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. Luke's gonna give you guys really big giant hugs from every position that he can, just to see where he can get the smother tap. And right now he really likes doing it when he is using closed guard. Danny using the front headlock to come up on that. Giving I feel like he was giving James reprieve on the jaw or on the neck. I don't know there. But that was a good gator roll into a possible anaconda. Illumio, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? He thought okay. Yeah, that's that roll leads with some neck torsion, so I think it would be a good idea. How you been, Illumio? Good to hear from you. Ooh, Clay is Clay's taking it to Caleb right now. This is interesting. I think if it is what I think it is, so Clay cracks him down. He gets that wrist trap, like you'd see him sneak it in right here. He grabs the wrist, and now he comes around. And right there establishes double wrist. I believe he establishes a double wrist control. This is, you've heard us refer to as Kimura's Kimura, the original dude trying to establish his Kimura, where you basically just rip the arm out and put it behind the back. Lucky for Caleb, it didn't happen. It looks like Caleb really wanted it. But he transitions and keeps the grip. Caleb, you can't be lazy with that hook. Get that second hook in. As soon as you're on the back, focus on getting both hooks in. Play with the high ball ride and the crossbody stuff later. I would just get used to using those hooks. Spent half of an entire round today in a knee shield half guard battle. I have spent half of my entire training time in a knee shield half guard battle with Luke particularly. I know the feeling. Passing the knee shield is that's an art in and of itself, man. Is Danny working a toe hold on Mitch here? Looks like he's got Mitch with the reverse triangle. I don't think Mitch knows how nice Danny was being there, because Danny could have easily broken that. All right, so Caleb switching to a closed guard against Clay. Looks like Clay is instinctively working to get to his feet in closed guard, which I really like. I don't know if you guys have showed him the. Ooh, switch to a triangle here. I don't know if you guys have showed him standing guard breaks while I was out, but if he's a quick study on that, that'll be awesome for him. Terrible for the rest of us. Got Steven and Josh over there too. Who am I? Oh, I'm with Tyler, I believe. Yeah. Any recommendations for an inflamed or irritated knee? Ibuprofen. If you're open to that, I know not everybody likes taking over-the-counter stuff. Not doing jujitsu, giving up completely. Picking a different hobby. If you're not willing to do that, as I don't think anybody in this chat is, I don't know how it happened, but if you want to continue training and you need to let that thing rest up, you really, really should put into practice some positional sparring. Maybe if you're dealing with knee troubles, depending on your limitations, think about what you can and can't get away with. Maybe working back escapes, working, let's see, if you can, working guard retention, things like that. Yeah, that's fair. I know. They're after me too, man. Yeah, man, you just got to be smart about how you train. And you'll see plenty of the guys in this room wearing, knee wraps and things like that when they need it. I certainly know no magic bullet, but yeah, you rely on positional sparring just to give your body a break. It's a nice counter snap there. Josh almost had that single. Also, be smart about who you train with. You're not going to catch me training with really big guys when I'm dealing with an aggravated neck or right now my shoulder's bothering me. Caleb asked me if I wanted to do armbar escapes. I said hell no, and until my shoulder's better, I won't be doing it. So be smart about your training partners and your positions. What happens here, Steven? What was that? Did I miss something? His toe? Oh. I'm gonna put him back down his knee. Right in my toe. Ah, yeah. So look at, Illumio as a counter study to this. This is Steven. His toe's broken. He's still training hard from every position. And look what happens. You see what happens? Spend the first few seconds of every sparring session doing a little something about my knee. Just stay away from it. Yeah. Just, yeah, that's... I think I have to remind people of that too, especially beginners. open communication with your training partners. Super crucial. Like here, Steven didn't say, don't do anything that'll make me plant on my right foot and hurt my, your ring toe or whatever I don't know what you'd call it. What happened? Why did the footage stop? What is going on? All right, folks, it looks like we lost a little bit of the footage here. I don't know why it wonderful. Let's see. Give me a few minutes. We're gonna download. Oh, I don't even have that ready. Just gonna look at yesterday's footage. Let's see. I've got footage from this past Sunday. Maybe we could go over for like the next 30 minutes. All right, I'll download this footage and we'll do some stuff from the Sunday open mat. Shut up, Josh. I'm gonna put you in timeout, dude. I know. I'm bummed. I mean, we probably don't. I think I deleted the. I may have deleted the raw footage. We'll see. If I can recover that, I will. But oh well. iMovie sucks sometimes. Thank you for the bits, bud. Not enough to send me a voice message, but it's cool. I'll let you send me stupid faces. Let's see. Whatever, man. When I'm done, the feet is done. Yeah. Steven broke his toe, and iMovie felt bad for him, so it just stopped the footage. While that downloads, see if there was anything going on elsewhere. Look at Caleb and Clay. So look at here at old Orange Pants. It's a fun little entrance. Doesn't quite have the leverage, I think, to get Caleb over. You can see he gets the leg in front of the face. That would have been like the save. I think if Clay really tried to rocket that foot over, he may have been able to get Caleb off balance. He may have started to do that, and that's why we see Caleb pin that leg, effectively freezing Clay where he is. And Caleb coming by with the guard pass. Just barely going off screen now. All right. Let's shut this down. Stupid video. God, I hope we didn't miss anything cool from the end of that round. We'll go over a few matches from Sunday. Let's see. So we got Steven and Danny, Aries and Kyle, and Josh and Jason. Oh yeah, when Clay was doing the inversion. Yeah, it can be. The thing about, like, when you're stacked up like that, I had to learn this lesson early on, because I made the mistake a few times. Like, you can invert and get stacked and be pretty fine. Like, you've got to focus on that point, on rotating out of those positions rather than like trying to arch your back up. That's when your neck gets way overloaded, things start to crunch, and it gets really bad. How many footage of someone who's adept at passing a knee shield with tons of framing? So I don't have any footage that I could like go to right off the bat, but we can keep an eye out for, I mean, a lot of our guys here play half guard, right? I mean, Steven immediately as I say that is playing a half guard. Low knee shield right now. We have Ares over here doing the same thing on the left side of your screen. He's got his knee shield up. So we'll see how people handle this. So when it comes to, let's see, what Danny's doing right now, he caught it pretty low, so he's managing to cut that knee. He gets the right knee inside Steven's hip and starts to cut his angle. You can see Steven has removed his knee shield now in an attempt to like lock down the leg and slow down Danny's forward progression. Didn't work quite as well as he had hoped. When it comes to a standard knee shield and dealing with upper body frames at the same time, one thing to keep in mind, a good way to handle the upper body frames, like the forearms, disengage. I'm not saying stand up and walk away or lean back. It's not really the knee shield, it's the framing or the stiff arm behind the shield. Yeah, okay, so nice takedown from Danny here. Almost gets Steven's back exposed. So this is going to be largely dependent on how your opponent is reacting. Like there are going to be steps. He's going to adapt to what you're doing, and you'll have to adapt as well. But like if you find yourself just leaning into a knee shield, even if you could slip by the knee shield, then they have their hands at play. I would take a look at your initial position that your initial body position. So one way I like to pass from half guard is using a split squat stance, also known as headquarters. You can probably YouTube like jiu-jitsu headquarters position and take a look at how people use that when it comes to passing half guard. The beauty of it is when you slip I'm going to say you have an inside leg and an outside leg, right? We're in half guard. So when you slip that inside knee to between the legs and your same side arm, so if my right knee is the inside knee, my right elbow meets my right knee, I now have this frame that will keep that leg from coming in. So I no longer have to worry about the leg, right? That's important. Now it's just the forearm frames that I'm worried about. This is where you can either look to do things like cut the angle around the knees so that you're facing the feet instead of facing the head. Then all that forward framing doesn't really make a difference. He can push on your back, he can try to cross face you, but you can capture an arm as he goes to cross face and threaten a Kimura. You can sit to cross ashi if you're into doing leg locks, spin the leg to do a knee bar or cross ashi. I might be getting, I don't know if you're following me right now. And if any of that has already happened as I'm talking, you guys better tell me so I can point it out. Alternatively, if you don't want to spin around the knee, like you're going to have to start attacking his arms. Well, not attacking, but like handling his frames with your own grips, right? So you kind of just have one to use reverse Kesa. Use it not in the sense of Kesa where you're controlling up at the shoulder line. Sit to it, face the feet as you're down over the hips. Think about pinning the hips the same way you would pin the feet, or I'm sorry, the same way you would pin the shoulders. Yeah, play around with it. Cole blocking everything. When it comes to fighting the upper body frames, like if you're not turning the corner and using that, what we'll just refer to as reverse Kesa right now, it's going to come down to hand fighting. I'll do things like using my outside leg to shin pin their bottom side arm. That way I have two arms and now they have one. I'll arm drag essentially, where I'm pulling their top arm across and I try to get chest to chest. Keep in mind the primary goal when you're passing from half guard is to get chest to chest and put them flat on their back. kind of like we're seeing Josh do right now, but he just really kind of looks like he just kind of like steps through. Yeah, he pretty much just got to side control. So if you keep that goal in mind of getting chest to chest and flattening out your opponent, that can give you a good, like, just a good compass to keep you on the right path. But yeah, in any case, shin pinning, arm dragging, establishing underhooks. I'll use my head if I can pummel my head inside to pin against the far side shoulder. It's another thing I like to do. And then, remember, another big focus here is if you've already gotten around the knee shield, that's great. Why don't you work on getting that leg free? And then, using your like a foot wedge, extract your leg, and then you're working from side control. For a minute, I had chest to chest. He's a very good half guard player. Yeah, it's half guard's awesome. Half guard's awesome to pass from, and it's awesome to sweep from. So that's what makes it a really fun position to get proficient at. It can be very good for both guys. Everybody wants the underhook, all that stuff. But yeah, I know I just rattled off like a whole bunch of stuff without watching any of this footage, but I hope that helps. There's a lot that you can do from those positions. Almost with the hip bump sweep. And then Steven with I really like the counter, Steven, coming up to the double leg. It's always a good day seeing Josh get double legged. Bring back the twister side control for this purpose. Yeah, happy to help, man. Hope training has been going well for you otherwise. So there, Aries is putting Queso to work. That was a nice exchange. So Aries is good with Queso. He I hope you guys notice how much he focuses on controlling the arm. That's what makes this work so well for him, is he keeps the elbow up off the ground. Yeah, it is, Josh. I'll make sure we go over that. Aries makes sure he keeps the elbow off the ground. If Danny can slip this, if Danny can contact his elbow to the mat, he's so close to just taking the back and getting to work from there. So Aries really focuses on that arm, which is the right thing you want to do. And then Danny hits this nice. He comes up on that. Aries puts him right back down, and Danny wisely re-rolls him and comes back on top. That was a great exchange. Pib, what's up, brother? Going good, man. I've sung the praises of your school. I did it on the last stream, but I absolutely love your guys' school. Everybody was super cool there, and Suzanne's like a total sweetheart. Very welcoming. Yeah, that was a rad reversal. It was cool too, because like I don't know how big you are, Pib, but like there aren't many guys my size that are black belts that you come across frequently, and like to be able to roll with Evan, who I believe he's a first degree, maybe a second degree black belt, and just like feel a well established game, like what that feels like and how it matches up with what I'm doing, like the problems that it gives me. It was such a cool opportunity. I hope I gave him some good rounds, but he definitely did for me. All right, so I think, Josh, this is the round. I don't know if there's another round with you and Arsum where he thrashes you more. He's fresh here, so hopefully it's a lot. Dude, you guys, oh, you're so lucky. I wish we had. I mean, like we've got some talented guys around my size, but that's so awesome. Let's see. Here we go. Back at it. He is wearing socks, yes. I don't know. Some people just like to wear socks. Maybe it's a feet thing if he doesn't want to get athlete's foot or something. It happens. He's a state champ wrestler, so he might also be used to like wrestling shoes, and maybe just hasn't made the jump yet to gross barefoot jiu-jitsu. It's funny, Pib. You guys have a bunch of black belts. We've had a rash of very accomplished wrestlers coming through our school, and it's like, if I'm being totally honest, it scares the shit out of me. But it's a very good thing. Talk about poking holes in your game. Like, no better way to show you how much you suck at stand up. So, yeah, I mean, I don't fault anybody if they want to wear socks. Mike trying to bend down to get the single. Damn, Aries is doing good to give Mike some trouble here. One of these days, I have wrestling shoes. I haven't, like when I first started training way back in the day down in Florida, I only trained no-gi, and like my coach was a wrestler, and I was getting mat burn on my feet really bad, as happens to everybody when they first start. So I just bought a pair of like cheap wrestling shoes on Amazon. I still have them, and I keep meaning to bring them in one day and just like really try to take some like quick shots on you guys, just to like show you the difference, those who haven't wrestled before, of like how much those shoes really help. Like all the awesome stuff you see wrestlers doing, it very much is because of the level of training and intensity and the years that they put in and all that, but their connection with the mat is so much better than ours, especially when it gets sweaty, that they don't lose nearly as much energy as they take those penetration steps or shots off their penetration step. They don't lose much energy with that, like that nice rubber sole against the mat. Now, I'm not saying that putting wrestling shoes on will make you guys better wrestlers. Let me get that totally straight. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, Steven, I'll just get heel hooked terribly. Steven Seagal was doing an exhibition wearing socks that slipped. I have not seen that footage, but any footage of Steven Seagal making an ass of himself sounds awesome to me. I hit it. Really hurt toe. Of course, immediate nickname for doing something nobody else is doing. Yeah, after like, I mean, I got him primarily because of the mat burn, and then like once you realize you don't just drag the top of your foot across the mat when you do shots, and you actually just learn the technique better, you don't need to wear it, at least not for jiu-jitsu. Yeah, there you go. Whatever makes him happy, man. I'm not. Make sure Sawyer knows I wasn't complaining about his sock wearing. All right, let's see. We are at 18 minutes into this footage. I want to find the round where Arsam and Josh train a little bit more, because it'll be funny. It might be towards the end of the Simon Steven. Was it in this one or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know, Josh. What was that? Was it this past Sunday? Or did you just get thrashed that whole round and I missed all the good takedowns? I don't know. I'm gonna give you guys a seizure if I keep doing this. Maybe it was another day. It might have been. I don't know. I've hardly been there the last 2 weeks, so I'm not sure. Oh yeah. I don't think I was there for that. I just heard he suplexed you a lot and it was awesome. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Got Josh and Mitch. I think Danny actually taps me in this round. Kind of a young phenom. Slow down. Schoolgirl teach. Yeah, man. So that was another thing too. I you know, not like my opinion matters for anything, but like I just commended him and like I told Suzanne like the level of instruction that you guys have there was tremendous. Like and everything about that class made me feel like I was taking a class at my own school. Like the camaraderie, the way you guys run your class, you know, the going over the techniques and taking the time to drill, the open mat at the end, the high fives at the end of class. But yeah, really like the level of instruction was Evan was off the chain with that. So, and we were going over like leg entrances from like a cross shin position, almost like a reverse De La Hiva, but like from shin to shin. Yeah, this is where Danny, I get a little too complacent with Danny here, and he just starts attacking my arm. It gets me to, I think he was trying to get to a wrist lock, which I'm just not going to tap to, but eventually it was just a little too much for my shoulder to handle. So, but yeah, that's purple belt at 18 is a hell of an accomplishment. Yeah, did not want to fight out of that anymore. And then the other part of rolling with Evan was like I saw the knee brace he had on, and I'm like, oh yeah, I heard you said you heard it wrestling, this and that. And he's like, yeah, I tore my MCL, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I don't want to make this any worse. I don't want to be part of making it worse. So, but he was super cool about it. He's like, don't even worry about it. I would love that, man. I was bummed I missed you. It would have been cool. You would have been the first friend from Twitch I got to roll with. So we'll definitely make it happen. I'm gonna tell my boss to send me out to Huntsville more often. And this is Steven. This was why I said Danny was, or no, Joe rather. I think Danny was being a little ginger with his left leg. When I got him into this, I didn't even switch to, I don't think I switched to even the heel hook position. Okay, yeah, I slipped the heel there and he tapped immediately. Told me after that his left knee, he feels like it's been hanging on by a thread, which I wish he would have told me at the beginning of the round. Yeah, I think he said if you're talking about the torn MCL, I believe he told me he tore it when he shot in on a double, stepped up, planted his left leg to cut his angle to like drive through it and felt a pop. And that was the tear. It really sucks. Jason doing a good job, or was doing a good job keeping his guard after that double from the knees, but Danny was pretty tenacious on the pass. Josh doing a very good job here with the pressure as he's trying to pass from this half guard position. You could see some of the things I'm thinking about, what I'm putting into play here. I talked to you guys a lot about, from body lock passing, or in this case, this is kind of like a side body lock pass, where he's working from half guard, controlling the head, right? Immediately I'm trying to think, get the head to the same side as the hips. He's doing a great job keeping his head very low and making it hard for me to pummel his head across my center line. I think you'll see it here. I try to threaten a Kimura. He pulls the arm free. Right here, I'm looking to pummel his head over, but he knows that. He's fighting through it. Drives that bottom knee in and crowds my legs. Was looking to make his way up the body. It's kind of a shitty attempt at getting a head and arm position to hit a sweep. Trying to push the knee through. Got to clear the leg now. See if he uses his left leg foot wedge or what. Obviously putting on a lot of shoulder pressure here, as you guys love to do. And there he gets a leg pass, and I do everything I can to get that top knee in. That was my saving grace here. So Josh was laying on great forward pressure this whole time, but I managed to get my right knee in to save the pass. So, I mean, if we were talking competition, that would not count as a pass, like a pass to mount, because I managed to get my knee in and start going on the attack. But yeah, everything prior to that was very good, very tight. Jason with the head scissor. And I believe a Kimura. I don't think Danny's too concerned with it. What was it? Oh, yeah. Smother tap. Probably breaking my nose on the Lord's Day. That's Sunday open mat for you. Just a lot of guarding and pummeling here. So Josh kind of enters into this threatening leg position, but like when you break me down from here, Josh, like right here, as you get that knee over, that's great. I want you to keep turning to your right though. Like you've got to get my hands to the mat and get my right knee to the mat. And then make sure you're collecting my knee so that it's on, on your side, and I'm not slipping it out. I don't know. We've got leg lock week coming up, or the next 2 weeks are leg locks, so maybe we'll go over this a bit more. But like you're in a good spot right now. You can tell like I'm trying to fight to get my leg out. So you should know that you've got me on the ropes at this point. But then now as I start to sit back, I've kind of collected your leg. We're almost in like a mutual ashi position. There I start to cut the angle. I think you extract your knee, maybe. I don't know, you tapped me once already, so I was probably pretty keen on getting you back at this point. Take it easy, Illumio. Thanks for joining, man. Good to hear from you. Keep training and keep working on that knee shield passing. Luke showed something Monday. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I thought we did something like that. So now I'm in an outside ashi with no heel exposure, which is not great. Typically when you're an outside ashi, take it easy, Joe. typically from outside Ashi, you want to have heel exposure already. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get heel exposure because you can't articulate your knees back and forth to like counteract them hiding their heel. If that doesn't make any sense to you by my words, I'll just show you what I mean. But typically I only switch to outside Ashi once I have the heel exposed. Since everybody's going to bed, and I have so much more of this round to go over, we're just gonna call it here. Sorry about the mix-up from the Monday footage. I know, man. I want to hit suplexes. I just don't want to hurt myself, if I'm being honest. It's funny actually. Let's look at that real quick, because I did think about that exchange after it happened, and like the way for me to get this, like I've got to get Josh basing back towards me. Like I lower my level way too early. I need to try to push my opponent forward and get them to like kind of base back towards me, especially when there's a size difference. That's when I could then lower my hips below theirs and look to take them up and over. If I'm just standing there like from this position, actually no, like right from here, I'm not gonna get a suplex, or I'm not gonna break somebody off the ground without hurting myself unless they're pushing back in this direction, right? So I often like to just move them forward and try to trip them, much lower energy. But yeah, I definitely I would love to just put Josh right on his neck, you know? Who wouldn't? That's why I'm always rooting for Arsam. I'm just kidding, Josh. I love you, man. Yeah, you know, but it's not the deadlift. It's the back bending. What's up, Pat? Thanks for watching, bud. Yeah, and thank you everybody for joining me. As always, I love going over this stuff. Love all the questions from the chat, and I hope I can help you guys out with just my words. If it's if I have stuff to look at on screen, even better. But either way, really great questions from everybody. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Please follow if you're not following. We appreciate the support. Subscribe if you can. Use your Twitch Prime, all that good stuff. And subscribe over on YouTube. Go search Mooresville BJJ on YouTube. Subscribe, and check this out later for reviewing if you need to. Other than that, we'll continue on with Back Week this week. Everybody get ready for the Gary Tonin seminar on Saturday. I'm really hoping that come Sunday, we'll have some footage. We'll be able to, you know, get some rounds in with him and maybe look at it on the stream. So no promises on that, but hopefully we can make that happen. I hope to see you all there. I know Gary's going to teach a lot of excellent stuff, so it'll be good for everybody. In the meantime, again, I don't know when the next competition is. I know Luke just posted something about the Charlotte Open for IBJJF, so come talk to us if you guys are interested in competing, and we'll get you ready for it. And in the meantime, go trim your nails and do your laundry and don't be stinky, and I'll see you guys back on the mats later.